Hey, I'm right back with another video. It's 8:55, May 4th. No, May 5th. Oh my God, the time is going by so fast. It's May 5th, okay? And anyway, I'm getting ready for bed, but I was watching some videos earlier. You know, I'm kind of flipping around, bored out of my head, right? So I saw some videos, and you know, sometimes when you're watching a video, something unrelated to the topic, you know, pops up. And of course, you know, I have some subscriptions to a lot of other targeted individuals, and you know, I have to say that some of these videos I haven't seen before. You know, guys, I've been trying to take a break from the whole targeted individual conversation thing, but you know, I've been thinking a lot about narcissism lately. In the last, I would say, maybe week or so, I've been really stewing on that subject, you know, and it's something that, you know, I've thought about before, but now I'm starting to really understand, like, how fucked this situation has been all my life, you know. And, you know, I'm starting to, like, understand how all of this has been playing a major role in my life. And I kept wondering, why is all these bad things happening to me? And now I'm looking back and I'm starting to, I mean, I understand it, but I'm really pointing the finger at certain people. So, you know, I watched the girl's video. I believe her name is Amy. I could be wrong. Forgive me. But if I remember the name, I'll put it back in the description box if I remember. I probably will tomorrow. But anyway, you know, I was listening to her and just kind of looking at random TI videos. So this particular one, Narcissism Survivor, he was talking about how should you forgive the narcissist? My answer to that is that's not even something that should even be rolling around in your mind, okay? Unless, of course, you're naive. You know, there are certain people, if you haven't learned by now that these people have no interest in what's good for you, they don't care about your opinion, they don't care about, you know, that it's your life, they will still try to manipulate and run it. They are extremely difficult people to live with and deal with. And, you know, no, there is no love from these people. So, no, I mean, I don't even consider that. Like, well, am I going to forgive them? The only thing I'm saying, and I've been saying it before, is that, you know, the best thing to do is move on. Because you can't change these people. This is who they are. Not everybody has a conscience. And I think that's what's so, so shocking about this. That's one of the reasons why, you know, every day I'm sitting there asking myself, how could somebody do this to somebody else? How could you do this? You know, I will say that the acts of a narcissistic person is unbelievable. I mean, there is just no end to what these people think that they're entitled to do. You know, they have an arrogance about them that is just unspeakable. You know, it's like there's no word to describe exactly how obnoxious, or I don't know. I mean, it's just, I sit there and I'm thinking, my God, you know, it's like a demon. I mean, I really do think there's something demonic about this sort of behavior, okay? And I don't like to merge the spiritual with the physical all the time, but, you know, I think there's oftentimes, and a lot of people think this, so that there's some issues relating to mental illness, and there's a correlation between mental illness and some sort of demonic spirits, you know. And I think that narcissist people, because they have such a small regard for human beings, the way that they dehumanize them, the way that they think that they can move them around like chess pieces, and even worse, the fact that they personally inflict and impose their particular views and lifestyles on another person, when they should know better that a person has the right to live their life however they want to. There is something very strange about that, especially when you've made multiple videos about it. You've talked about it over and over and over again. You've said everything you possibly could to tell these people that they are fucking goddamn monsters, get the fuck away from me, and yet still, they think that they are worthy of some sort of, like, you know, reconciliation or something. This is what, I mean, there's a total mental disconnect with these people, you know. So the best thing for a person to do is move on. I will say that forgiveness is not an option. There will never be a forgiveness, you know, but I will say that this is a lesson You know, and I will say also that I know how common narcissistic behavior is. And not just the narcissistic behavior. The sad part is there's a lot of ignorant people out there that are willing to side with a narcissistic person. You know what I mean? And maybe it's because they feel like this narcissistic person has power or whatever. They perceive this person as powerful or whatever. But the fact is that, you know, the fact that there's narcissistic people in the world and the fact that there's so much ignorance in the world, that's a scary combination. You know, this is a very scary world we live in. You know, and that's what's constantly going through my mind. You know, it's like, are there any good people in this world? You know, because when you experience all of this and the magnitude of it, and you see how people are willing to, you know, carry out the acts of a narcissistic person. You know, the little demons, I call them, demons in training. You know, like the weirdos in that call you in for job interviews and they just want to mess with you. These people, why would you carry something like that out? There's something wrong. And when you see how many people do this sort of stuff, you think, oh God, you know, these people are cancers in society. There is no love for something that is that, you know, horrific. You know, how could you even think for 1 minute they're monsters? That's all they are, you know. They don't care if you don't love them. They don't care because their issue is, you know, possession. They want to possess someone, you know, and that sounds like the characteristics of a demon to me. You know, it really does. I'm basically telling my family to go to hell. I hate them. I know what they are. Please get the hell away from me. And guess what these people do? They come charging at you. You know, oh, but, you know, we could still, no. Don't you get it? I feel nothing for you. You know, how could I possibly after all these years? Same thing with Joel's family. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, I'm all for, what do you call it? No contact. I'm all for it. I completely encourage it. You know, people think, well, what will I do without them? Live your goddamn life. That's what you're going to do. You know, you're not going to have to sit here and worrying about people coming in, choosing your goddamn job, mobbing you out of your job, making you, or trying to force their beliefs and their ideas on you. You know what I mean? Who the hell wants that? You're a goddamn monster. You're a demon. It's exactly what you are, in my opinion, you know? And yes, I do see a correlation between some mental illnesses and what relates on the spiritual plane. And these people are sick. And the very fact that they sit there and ramble on talking about the Word of God, where they know nothing about God, and they act like demons, you know, you got to think to yourself, shit, you know, what the hell's going on with these people? Gullible people, you know, are underneath them, you know, and the ignorance is what is another issue. So, yeah, I would say the world is a very scary place. It really is. So since taking all that into consideration, to forgive a narcissistic person makes no sense. You know, it's like in this world, we are on this earthly plane, and obviously there is some sort of battle against good and evil. I'm not claiming to be almighty and good, okay? But I'm saying is there are certain things on this world that you're supposed to avoid, okay? These are the monsters that creep around, and they don't necessarily appear as monsters. Some of these people have very nice appearances. Some of these people seem like they're very kind people. And, you know, this guy also mentioned in the video about how they talk about going to church and donating to charities and stuff. But these are the masks that they wear. It is the mask that they wear. Because they're trying to make you think, oh, they're this kind of person, but their real motives show. It's like, you know, actions speak louder than words. You know what I mean? Sure, they may have been an action. They may have done something. It's an action to donate to a charity or whatever. But do you need to know that? Why is it that they always need to tell you about all their good accomplishments? You know what I mean? It's like it's an admirable thing when you do something, but when you're trying to get a pat on the back for it, just kind of makes you wonder, like, I wonder why you're so eager to do something. Because our narcissistic people are always looking to stroke their own egos. You know? If you want to help somebody, help somebody. Help somebody because you care and you want to. Don't expect a pat on the back. You do it out of compassion, which lets me to believe that there is a lack of compassion in this world. Because people are always giving with expecting something to receive. But true giving is not like that. Some people are moved by compassion, you know. And when you see a narcissistic person, believe me, they're not moved by compassion. Now, in this case, maybe they're moved out of shame, you know, you know, because people know what they are, you know. And that's something like narcissistic people don't like being is exposed. You know, there's no getting along with narcissistic people. So my answer to his, well, it's not an answer. He was basically saying never forgive. I agree with never forgive. But for people who are listening, who are going through this, and they're thinking, well, maybe I could forgive this person because we did have good times. You always, when you remember the good times, remember that that was probably a mask. It was a cover-up. All right? They might be nice to you. They might smile in your face. But they always got some other agenda working underneath the system. You know? That's the scariest part. I realized today how very little I knew my family. How very little I knew them. You know? Because I got caught up in, you know, number one, you take them for granted because you're underneath the same household. You know, they got their little issues or whatever, but you don't think that these people are completely different than you. They think on a completely different level, you know, whereas I'm the kind of person, you know, I've always been more sensitive. I remember watching cartoons, you know, like sad cartoons where, like, you know, maybe a character's mom dies or something. I'd be like crying for days, sad about it, moping about it, thinking, oh, they killed his mom or some crazy stuff like that, you know. And they would watch that stuff and it would mean nothing to them. I remember them making fun of me because I was compassionate. You know, they would laugh at me because I felt sorry for a character, you know, and it was just a TV show. I remember telling a substitute teacher telling me one time, it's okay that you cry. That shows that you're a sensitive person. Oh, but don't be a sensitive person when you're living amongst narcissistic people, because that's like, you know, food for them. They're going to come down and they're going to want to tear that shit apart. You know, it's very strange, you know, but I'm completely different than these people. So like oil and water, they don't mix. You know what I mean? So if you have a heart, you know, you have any sort of decency in you, you don't mix with a narcissistic person. Okay? And like I said, they are cancers. They spread disease everywhere they go. Like when I talk about disease, like I remember somebody breaking down the word disease is like dis-ease. And you're breaking it down. And they do. That's all they do. You know? Who the hell needs that? So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And I will be back with another one tomorrow. Maybe. Have a great night. Bye-bye.